Going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting on March 11th. Mr. Oliver.
Yes, sir. Bow our head. Dear Lord, bless this great country, bless this great state, bless this great parish. And dear Lord, bless all the members on this board to make the right decision for this great parish. Dear Lord, bless all the service members who serve in this country today to give us the freedom we have. Amen, dear Lord.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. We are missing Mr. Robert, Turner, and Mr. Arcelou. And there's no chairs additions. Any public comment? Anybody would like to say anything? They can fill out one of the red or green forms and turn it into secretary. All right, 5A, general business. Quarterly update on Ascension Economic Development Corporation activities, including meetings with stakeholders, allies, current business, retention meetings, and review of projects in the pipeline.
All right, good evening. So this is our first quarter update for you. So I was going to quickly go over the 2024 project announcements. So as you'll see, we had 6 announcements, and that came to just over $200 million of new investment and 264 new permanent jobs here. And then so far this year, we had 2 project announcements. We had the John H. Carter announcement in Gonzales, and then Racetrack on Industrial Drive in Geismar for another $78 million of new investment and another 180 permanent jobs. So just to get the exciting stuff out of the way first, and then our usual, so this is kind of the construction progress update on previous announcements. So this is so that you all are aware of places where you may see increased traffic based on construction work that's ongoing on some of the things that have been announced in other years. So we have some on there from 2021. Which again, that's Air Products, which is just starting pre-construction activities. So while you'll see movement, they haven't even really started their construction. So that's going to be another 3 to 4 years of activity that you'll notice in the Burnside, Sorrento area. And then Westlake should be wrapping up this year in Geismar. And then we have 2 projects in CF that will also be under construction. One's ending at the end of the spring. The other one should be done by the end of the year. And then in Geismar, we still have 2 more that are finishing up with BASF and Southern Glazers. And the pictures that are just on the screen, so that was Skyfall Biologicals that opened late last year, and then the warehouse where Marucci is housed. So those are both on Industrial Drive, just if you were curious. But that's kind of where we see an extra 3,300 people at any time, depending on construction schedule, that could be on the roadways. And then our regular projects, so we keep the track, and I know we always go over this, what A, B, and C means, so now we actually put it on the slide so you can have it. But A's are really what's most active because they're making a decision within 12 months. Feasibility announcements are also very active because those are the ones that have made a public announcement but have not came to a final decision on if they are moving forward with the project or not. So those 2 are the groups that we spend our most time on, and then the B projects are the ones that have either been an A project but their timeline got pushed off, or they've been to visit and there's been some significant work done on those. And then C projects are kind of our newer ones, or our suspects, or ones that are less likely to make a decision anytime soon. So we still have 30 projects that we are working on, 11 of those being more active. So this is still a very strong pipeline that keeps us very busy these days, but we feel pretty good that we'll get some more announcements this year. And here's our feasibility updates for you, because those seem to be the ones everyone asks about the most. These are the ones that have done public processes or been in the media. And I did put in the date that we anticipate there being FID, but again, a lot of these have been delayed. So they maybe should have made FID last year, but now they're looking at this year. So as of any time when I tell you this, that's the date we're working off of now. So the important thing is this is over $12 billion of new investment with over 600 new jobs. So we are hopeful that a few of these make it across the finish line this year. And then our business attractions, so this is all project leads that are new to the parish. So this is businesses that don't exist here in Ascension. So far this year, that's actually a typo. We've had 17 leads. And then you can kind of see where we get them from. So some of them come directly to us. A lot of them, the majority, come from Louisiana Economic Development. And then we do get some from other partners and consultants and utilities. We do give you some metrics because we don't respond on all of them because some of them demand things we don't have, like existing buildings or timber that isn't here. So some of them we just can't submit on, but we do try to submit on every single thing that we have the ability to compete for. And we do, which is another weird thing, so we track it on a calendar basis, but we do have 2 new projects this year that came from leads from last year. So we're trying to figure out ways to keep the data straight so that it makes sense when we report it, but we'll keep working on that. And then we do track where, like what industry they are, so to see if we're getting more of a traditional industry mix or if we're more in clean technology or the electric vehicles, and tracking which ones are coming from our targets as well. So that way we can kind of see how year to year things are changing or that we're competing or just kind of where things may differ and trying to figure out why those happen. And then our other big program is obviously business retention and expansion. So if we have any projects, this is where they would fall on existing industries. So if any of our current businesses are planning to do anything in the future, we visit all of the major employers once a year. We visit some of the other ones every 2 or 3 years, and we will visit with any business that would like us to visit with them to discuss doing business in Ascension and any type of incentive programs or workforce training programs that they could qualify for. The big topics these days are incentives because those are still changing. They will change throughout this session. I don't know what the latest is going to be yet, but we'll keep you updated on what that looks like during this next legislative session. But in general, the positive is that all the companies we've met with, their production is steady or strong. So what we also are looking for is if there are any problems that could lead to a potential shutdown or something that we would like to avoid, we try to get in there early to make sure that we can work with them before something bad happens. But right now, everything is positive. It's still the same. Workforce is always a topic, but it's never the same throughout everybody, but it's always a topic. And then traffic, depending on where the location is. So that's our kind of overall comprehensive update to you on what we're hearing from local businesses. And if there are any questions, happy to answer.
Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Kate.
All right, thanks.
B, approval of cooperative endeavor agreement between the parish and Jambalaya Capital of the World for one-time payment of $20,000 to help marketing and public relations.
Motion approved.
Motion, Mr. Melancon, second, Mr. Varnado. Mr. Robert is present. And that will be sent to full council. Oh, yeah. Any objections or questions? Item sent to council. Approval of cooperative endeavor agreement between Ascension Parish Government and Ascension Council on Aging for building a new senior center in Prairieville. Parish will loan funds in the amount of $2 million to be repaid by the COA over a 10-year period from the signing of the promissory note.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Melancon, second, Mr. Cullen. Any objections or questions? Sent to council. Approval of renewal of the cooperative endeavor agreement with Capital Area Human Source Services District for the limited purpose of the parish assisting in the monthly rental payments for the building currently housing CAHSD. The parish shall reimburse CHSD $4,345.83 monthly, which is one half the monthly rental rate of $8,691.66. The parish shall also reimburse one half of monthly utility cost.
So moved. Second.
Motion, Mr. Malonso, second, Mr. Vornderdove. Any questions, comments? Send to council. Approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement for autopsy and autopsy forensic services with Dr. Christopher Trevino and Dr. Frank Peretti, BBA Forensic Autopsy Consulting Services, LLC, to temporarily increase the not-to-exceed amount by $31,900 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $81,899.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Malonso. Second by Mr. Cullen. Any questions, comments? Send to council.
I think you need to coin that phrase.
Send to council?
I am.
I got it locked down.
Yeah, you got it.
Approval of renewal of contract for medical services with Tygotro for medical services to inmates in Ascension Parish Jail. Compensation to provider is $4,725 monthly, not to exceed $56,700.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Malonso. Second, Mr. PT. Sent to council. Approval of amendment number 1 to the Claims Administration Service Agreement with Louisiana Claims Administrators for claims management and administration to add additional $10,500 to cover the last quarter administrative fees, any additional fees provided for the Exhibit A of the contract. The new not-to-exceed amount is $76,300.
So moved.
Got a question, Mr. Robert?
Who do I ask the question to?
Megan?
Megan,
Yes.
Okay. What is that difference that we need that for?
So that is for whenever they move forward with efforts for us to settle claims or to work those claims, occasionally it does go outside of the contract. And so that's for the subrogatory fees.
Do we have anything, for example, that's happened to recently?
I can certainly have that submitted to you all.
Okay. And, so what would this raise it by? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
This raises it by how much?
So for this one, it's saying it won't exceed the amount by 78, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong part, to 76.3. So we need an additional 10.5 to cover.
Okay. All right, that's all the
Yeah.
questions I have.
Any other questions or comment? All right, send to council.
All on which project it was? I kind of have an idea.
We
but
certainly
I'd like to
can.
confirm first.
Yes, sir, you got it.
Thank you.
All right, each. Approval of amendment number 1 to the professional services contract for programming and maintenance of communications equipment within Telecom Consulting LLC for programming and maintenance of communications equipment to add an additional $1,400 to pay remaining invoices for not to exceed amount of $78,900.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Malonso, and second by Mr. PT. Any questions or comments? All right, sent to council. The approval of professional selection committee's recommendation to select the respondent, Triton Controls and Engineering, Inc., for the RFQ Parish Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Support and to enter into a service contract for the project.
I just have one question.
Yes, sir. Mr. Malonso.
Hey, Mr. Byrne, is this the same company that we've been using?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was just curious if we were switching and if we were, why?
Yeah, no, we're happy with that
Okay,
consultant
perfect.
as well.
That's what I assumed. Thank you. Motion to approve.
All right. Mr. Robert.
Yeah, I know we put it out for RFQ. Just curious, do we have any other responses?
On this one?
Correct.
We only wound up having one response.
The response, okay.
Yeah.
And,
Good.
no, I mean, I'm just wondering, what do we do for these RFQs to advertise them? I mean, is there some more that we could do? And I'm not saying I'm not happy with the company, but I
Yeah,
just
no,
know
no,
as far as,
he did he put it in the paper the 3 times, and online.
We put it on
to
the
solicit.
website?
Mhm, on the website.
okay.
So it was solicited, so I
And
know-
I understand we're doing everything, the guidelines that we're supposed to do, but
Right.
maybe if we could possibly talk with administration and see if there's a little more we can do for those specific jobs that we're only getting one bid back.
Yeah, and this one's a
And I know
very,
it's professional services, but
yeah,
still,
this
you
one's
know.
it's a very special, for SCADA, for our systems, there's not a whole lot of people out there that I think that wanna.
Is this the same company that works with Jefferson Parish?
I know he works throughout different parishes throughout the state, that company does.
Because that would be somebody that I would be really interested in, because
Yeah.
they have a very impressive system.
Some of them, I think, didn't want to, the ones that do work with us on other bids on projects, didn't want to be the support contract on this one because they want to be able to bid on the jobs for the actual construction of it.
Understandable.
So the ones you're talking about, typically, they're actually the
And like I
consultants.
said, no fault to anyone, I'm just saying maybe if we could give that little extra reach. You
Yeah,
never know.
absolutely.
Maybe not. Thank you.
Yeah, they did give a really good rate on there, it's a task order driven, so it's, we're happy with it as well,
Absolutely.
so.
All right, motion, Chase, second, Mr. PT. Any questions or comments? Ms. Roots?
I just want to comment that this is a very specialized RFQ that went out, and it is because it is managing. It's kind of like our Move Ascension or Adapt. If you're running the program, you don't get any of the big job contracts. So it's kind of a steady flow of money, but it's not big chunks. But I do want to, we haven't publicly unveiled this, so hopefully Jim in purchasing doesn't get on me, but we have actually revamped our purchasing website for bidding, and we now have it that you can go onto our website and sign up with keywords, so you get push notifications when those bids come out. So it's on our website. You can also get the plans and specs for free, downloaded addendums. We still use central auction bidding, which we need to, just with some of the state statutes. But this allows a much easier interaction with our vendors. And on other solicitations, we have already seen a dramatic increase in responses. So it is working. This one's just a bit more specialized.
Good.
I got it.
Just curious, the way we're moving forward with this particular company, did we reach out to the Jefferson Parish at all? Do you know that? Because I know we went, I think you were there when we went and toured.
This is the company that does Jefferson.
Awesome. See, that's the main thing I was concerned about. And, you know, the push notifications are a huge help. Those different types of deals will always get, you know, more resources and more people out there. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, send to council. Item J, approval of amendment number 3 to the renewal of master contract for professional services for engineering review agency services with the CSRS LLC for engineering review agency services to extend the contract term through July 6, 2025. The amendment only extends the term of the contract and does not affect the contract price.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Malonso. Second, Mr. Cullen. Any questions or comments? Send to council. K, approval to enter in a contract agreement with the lowest responsive quote received from Vast Lighting and Control Solutions for the project, electrical lighting and replacement arena B, C, and D in the amount of $68,825.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Malonso. Second, Ms. Alonso. Any questions, comments? Questions, Mr. Robert?
We're changing out poles also.
Do what? I'm sorry.
We're changing out the poles here also. on the
This is
light.
mainly, this is the lighting control system for the main arena. This is what controls the inner lights. The system that's currently in place is obsolete and is the original system that was installed back when
Okay,
the property was built.
fair enough. Thank you.
Question.
Mr. Oliver. I got you.
But these funds not coming out of the lighting district, correct?
No, sir.
That's all. Yeah, y'all don't have them problems. I have them problems.
Do I? You got me on that one. Any other questions or comments? All right, sent to council. All right, approval of amendment number 2 to the renewal of master services contract with Delcon LLC for plumbing, maintenance, and repairs to an additional $75,000 to provide funding through the end of the contract term of July 11th, 2025, not to exceed amount of $275,000.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Melanson. Second, Ms. Alonso. Any questions or comments? You don't want to go 3 in a row?
Raising it 75,000?
Well, basically, we had the arc over on the west bank. The
That was
whole
the, yeah, you had the,
underground system collapsed.
that was 60,000 though, right?
It was more than that. Time it was all said and done, it was closer to 100. We had to go in there and cut all of it out.
Okay,
So that ate up most of our budget on that.
all right, thank you.
That's what this is for, to make that up.
Any other questions, comments? All right, items in the council. Thank you.
I feel like you took a lot of emotion out of that after I said it. I shouldn't have said anything about sending it to council.
Approval of renewal of the legal services contract with King Miller LLP for the preparation of trust documents for retiree medical plan, coordination with health plan, pension plan, and related documentation, and consultation with respect to related tax consequences and regulatory compliance. The rate at which attorney will be the parish shall not exceed the Attorney General rate and shall not exceed $8,000.
Motion.
Motion for Mr. Malonsaw, second Mr. Robert. Any questions, comments? Sent to council. N, approval of amendment number 10 to the professional services contract with the McKean and Creed, Inc. to extend the term to February 17, 2025, retroactive to December 31st, 2024. The amendment only extends the term of the contract and does not affect the contract price. Motion, Mr. Malonsaw. Second, Mr. Cullen. Any questions, comments? Send to council. O, approval amendment number 2 to the master contract for professional services for professional engineering support services with Forte and Tablada, Inc. for the bridge load ratings of parish-owned bridges. This amendment is to extend the term of the contract through June 30th, 2025, and does not affect the contract price. Motion, Mr. Malonsaw, second, Mr. Varnado. Any questions or comments? Sent to council.
I don't have a question or comment.
Approval of amendment number 2 to the renewal of master contract for professional services for geotechnical assistance with Gulf South Engineering and Testing, Inc. to extend the contract term to June 30th, 2025. The amendment only extends the term of contract and does not affect the contract price.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Robert, second, Mr. Peatty. Any questions, comments? Sent to council.
There we go.
Contract report of all contract agreements entered into the month of February 2025. The contract report was emailed to the committee members ahead of the meeting, and any questions submitted should have been answered before the meeting. If there are any other questions, they can contact legal or finance.
I do have a question that I don't want to contact legal or finance. It was to earlier whenever Ruth was talking about the push notifications and whatnot. Is there any way that, is this a state law or is this a parish law that we will not let the company that's overseeing the whole project bid on any of the smaller projects, even if it's under a different LLC or they have the capacity to do it? Or, because it kind of seems like we're taking ourselves off the table from some good people because they want to do some of the labor when I bet they have different departments, different things that handle different aspects of it.
So it'd be a conflict of interest, because on the front side, like for ADAPT, for example, HNTB knows all our priorities, all our plans, all the inner workings of it. And so they would be competing with kind of insider knowledge.
Yeah.
And so that's why there are firms like HNTB, CSRS that choose to stay more on the program management, more on engineering review. And, that's just a business model that they go for.
Okay, and the conflict of interest is where? I'm sorry.
They have front side knowledge before the bid goes out.
Gotcha, so even if it was a conglomerate or a different LLC of a complete different operating, because I mean, I know different companies that have an operating aspect and they have an engineering aspect that don't have anything to do with each other.
We'd have to look at it and see if they have a firewall type of situation that would really protect it. But generally, when we're referencing this, it's
And a lot of
just
times, this is a
regarding
different,
engineering services,
a
not.
different location and everything. Okay, thank you. No more questions, Chair, for the whole.
All right, finance report, 6A, monthly report of new positions added to the Ascension Parish Government Classification Plan in the month of February 2025. Ms.
Hi,
Megan?
good evening. After reviewing the report, do y'all have any questions about the new positions? All right, we'll certainly reach out if you do. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Budget amendment number 1, approval to amend 2025 budget. Ms. Dawn?
Good evening. You have before you Budget Amendment Number 1, which reads as follows. An ordinance to amend the ordinance approving, adopting, and appropriating the 2025 operating and capital budgets for the Parish of Ascension, adopted by the Ascension Parish Council on the 21st day of November, 2024. Section 1, the Ascension Parish Council hereby ordains that the ordinance approving, adopting, and appropriating the 2025 operating and capital budgets for the Parish of Ascension is hereby amended, approved, and appropriated as follows. Operating budget, West Ascension Drainage, Lower Delta Soil and Water Conservation District funding, expenditures and other financing uses, appropriations and grants, non-capital, $12,000. Council on Aging, funding for the new Prairieville Senior Wellness Center, expenditures and other financing uses, transfers out, Council on Aging Construction Fund, $1,500,000. Capital budget, Council on Aging Construction Fund for the new Prairieville Senior Wellness Center, revenues and other financing sources, transfer in, Council on Aging Fund, $1,500,000, grant revenues, $2 million. Council on Aging Construction Fund continued, expenditures and other financing uses, contract payments capital, $3,500,000.
Mr. Oliver?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to remove the West Ascension Drainage funding for Lower South from this budget amendment.
Second.
All right, motion, Mr. Oliver, second, Mr. Melanson. I need a vote. Any objections or questions?
Then I don't think we need to vote. So amendment passes.
Yeah, so the amendment passes with the,
Now voted as amended.
oh yeah, now we need a vote as amended.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Oliver, second, Mr. Malonzo. Any questions? Comments? Be sent to council. Financial update. Open finance, you can look anything up on the parish's website at ascensionparishla.finance.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Barnado, second by Mr. Collins. Thank y'all.